Hello, hello, my love. Whoa, jeez Louise. Okay. Hello, hello, my lovely fellow Geminis. Welcome to your weekly readings for. I keep wanting to say February or March or whatever, but this is for April 8th through the 21st. Man, dates have been so weird for me. I know that it's April now. It's actually April 1st as I'm recording this. 7. Here we go. Dates are just so weird. I don't know what it is, man. Like, I have been just off. Off with my dates. I think even last reading I told you that I just cannot get the dates right for the life of me. I don't know what's going on with my brain. I'm going to blame it on Mercury retrograde, which actually started today. So, we'll just blame it on that. How are you? Let's pull your oracle cards real quick, Gemini. Alright. Ooh. Interesting. Oh, I've never seen that card before. Cool. Okay. So your first card here for your oracles that I pulled is the Fox Spirit, which says, think on your feet. Oh, in the middle of Mercury retrograde, there's no thinking going on. And, you know, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, right? The planetary ruler for Gemini. So Mercury retrograde kind of throws you off very much so. Think on your feet. Thinking is hard right now. You have the Dog Spirit, which says, be loyal to what you love. So you not only have the fox, but you have the dog. Think on your feet. Be loyal to what you love. And finally, your other card here, Gemini, is the Horse Spirit, which says, freedom is yours. I actually haven't seen this card pulled in any of my other readings before, so you kind of get a new card here. Freedom is yours. Think on your feet. Be creative. Be adaptable. That's very much so Gemini energy. Gemini is a very adaptable sign because of being ruled by Mercury. You know, mercurial energy is very much go with the flow. Things move. Things go in different ways, different directions all the time. And be loyal to what you love. That's going to be like your guiding compass. That's going to be your true north. The things that you love, the things that you care about are your true north, Gemini. They're things that help you stay on track for what you want to be doing, where you want to go. And freedom is yours. Yeah. Really good stuff going on. Now, let's get into your tarot for these next 2 weeks here. Now, starting off on the very beginning on April, I almost said February. I don't know what's wrong with me. Starting off on April 8th here, on your very first card on this week, we start off with a solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. This is actually the new moon happening in Aries, and this is our time to start manifesting. Anything we manifest on this solar eclipse during this full moon, or new moon, excuse me. Anything that we manifest, that we want to manifest, is going to be occurring over these next 6 months, because eclipses happen over an axis, right? So in Aries season right now we have eclipses, and in Libra season we're going to see a couple more eclipses. So, you know, we have this ebb and flow, back and forth, these things going on. And whatever we manifest, new moons are a time of manifestation. And what we're manifesting on this new moon is something that we're going to be seeing over these next 6 months. And Gemini, I don't remember last week what your manifestation was. I don't remember what it was. But with that being said, your very first card here is the Seven of Wands in reverse. This is about reevaluating what you believe in. This is about reevaluating the hills that you will die on, essentially. The Seven of Wands is conviction. It's about what you believe in, what you're willing to fight for, the things that you're willing to defend. You know, not just defending yourself, but defending, like, your beliefs, defending the things that you're doing, your actions. And with this being in the reverse, a lot of what is being brought up at this time for you, Gemini, is your beliefs. The things that you know, the hills that you will die on, essentially. This is also about your path, your direction. So where you are going. Some of you may feel as though you need to defend where you are going, defend what you are building for yourself from other people. But this is actually moving away from the need to defend. So with this being in the reverse, some of you are moving away from this defensive energy. And goodness, wow. Wow, your next 4 cards in this first row here are kings and queens. I mean, the Empress is like, you know, a major arcana card. It's not one of the kings of these things. Wow. This is really interesting energy, Gemini. Let's talk about why it's interesting real quick. King and queen energy in the tarot, right? I know that tarot's kind of one of those things that's evolved past gender norms, right? It's, when I think about this, it's actually like 2 different types of energy, right? There's the yin and the yang, the push and the pull. And there's how do I explain this? There's actually 3 kinds of energy, right? There's the outward energy, the expansive energy, what we would often label as masculine, or the king energy, right? Outward, expansive energy outside of oneself. In the yogic beliefs, it's called rajas. It's this, you know, one of the 3 gunas. It's this outward, expansive force, expanding energy. And then there's this inner circling energy, the tamas. This is the inner energy of the work that we do inside, the nurturing, the growth that happens internally. And this is what would often be labeled as the feminine energy, right? The tamas. This is the energy within, right? So we have the outward expansion and the inward contraction. And in between these is actually this third piece, the sattva, sattvic energy, which is the balance between the push and the pull. When the energy is not, when you have things moving in 2 opposite directions, it almost looks like it's like not moving at all. It's this perfect balance between this. And so this is kind of where we find this balancing energy. So you have multiple aspects of outward expansion and inward contraction happening here, Gemini. So when I say like king and queen, when I say these, you know, masculine and feminine energies, it's really not so much gender as it is outward expansion and inner contraction, inner work, things that are going on internally and externally. Anyway, such a weird tangent. My brain feels fried, you guys. I'm not even gonna lie. These readings today have been pretty difficult. Trying to figure out what is going on. It's Mercury retrograde, you guys. So, anyway, your very next card here after that 7 of Wands in reverse is the King of Pentacles. And now, as I said, king, masculine, outward expansion, right? When you look at this card, I mean, looking at this card even, this looks like a freaking Wall Street business CEO kind of person, right? This is someone who has like, they have resources, they have money, they have not just money. I mean, money is such a very minimal, shallow part of the Pentacles. But it's about our resources, time, energy, things like that. And so, Gemini, you find yourself in this place of this outward, expansive energy. You're wanting to build this legacy. And yes, some of you could very well be starting businesses, being very entrepreneurial at this time. A lot of you are thinking about this outward expansion of your finances, of your resources. So, yes, starting a business, you know, but it's also like some of you may be thinking about building a house, and you're trying to move away from the idea of defending yourself, defending your desires for these things. You could very well be wanting to start a business and wanting to build things, and you're moving away from the idea of having to defend your business ideas from other people. And then you move on to your next card here, which is the Empress. Now, as I said, this is not necessarily a queen of one of these tarot suits, but this is kind of like the ultimate queen of the major arcana, right? I mean, it's an empress. What's above a queen? An emperor, an empress, right? And the Empress has this, you know, feminine energy, but as we said, it's not about gender. It's actually about the inner work. And so you have the outward expansion of your finances and resources, but the Empress is your inner resources. This is your inner pieces. The Empress is the person who trusts their ability to build these things. So yeah, the King of Pentacles has this like ego about it. The King of Pentacles has this idea of like, I can do and build these things, but the Empress is about nurturing the inner pieces. It's not just about having the resources, but you also have to have the community. You also have to have the culture, like an inner work culture almost, to be able to build these things. And the Empress is someone who is very, very fruitful. I mean, literally, fruitful. This person has a pomegranate and bananas and a pineapple, and it's meant to represent that, like, this person, the Empress, trusts themselves. They're able to grow these things. Sometimes it's about fertility. Yes, fertility of, like, the self, but this is actually really about fertility of your mind, fertility of your... The King of Pentacles has the seed, but the Empress is the one who grows it. And, yeah, that kind of sounds like pregnancy-ish, but it's not... I guess it's like pregnancy of your mind, pregnancy of your thoughts and your manifestations. Oh my gosh. I can't think. Ugh, I keep getting distracted. There's all these crows and squirrels and things happening outside. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's try to get through this reading because I need a nap. So we have this very interesting energy, Gemini, of this, you know, outward expansion and believing in yourself, believing in your ability to manifest and build these things. Then we move on to the King of Wands in reverse. This is kind of a weird shift because it's like part of you believes that you have the money to do it. You have the finances, you have the stability, you have the, you know, the actual inner physical energy. And actually, even following this card, you have the Queen of Cups, which is like the emotional ability. But this is like your confidence. Normally, this card in the upright, this is like big D energy, right? This is like someone who has the total ability to manifest whatever they want. And like this is someone who has confidence, has the, like I said, big D energy, like of being able to do whatever they want and being able to attract and do things that they want to do. And this is in the reverse for you, Gemini. So like, it's such a strange feeling. And actually, your first card, that Seven of Wands, was in reverse too. So like, something is off. There's so many moving pieces and things that feel like they should be working for you, but something about your confidence, Gemini, something about being able to do this thing is off. I mean, you have that Queen of Cups, so like emotionally, you are in love with this thing. Emotionally, you are fulfilled by whatever this thing that you are doing is, but you're just, I feel like you're disconnected from your ability to, or disconnected from your confidence in your ability to do this. It's such a strange energy, Gemini. Think on your feet. Be loyal to what you love, and freedom is yours. Oh, it's so weird. I don't feel like those give you any insight. I'm stumped. You know what? Let's go ahead and try to clarify that King of Wands real quick. Can we clarify that King of Wands in reverse, please? I would really like to get to the bottom of it, and my brain is too tired to try to think on my own. Please, please, please. King of Wands in reverse. Let's clarify that King of Wands in reverse for me, please. Okay, you have the Star card in reverse. Okay, yeah. It's kind of already what we've been saying. The Star card is your hope. The Star card is your, I'm going to just, like, use my finger to kind of, like, censor that a little bit, because this person's got boobs. So the Star card in reverse, this is the healing that occurs after the Tower. This is you picking up the pieces and finding hope again in the darkness. The Star is that guiding light, the true north. You know, as we said, the true north, be loyal to what you love. So having that card show up on the King of Wands, not only are you God, Gemini, you're disconnected from the heart of it. You're disconnected from the confidence. You have an inner wound, it feels like. There's all this outer stuff. I feel like so many things are happening externally that, like, I mean, you have the money, you have the right business mindset. The Empress says that you have the inner, like, physical ability to do it, and you also have the Queen of Cups, which is another, you know, feminine energy, the masculine, the outward energy. Maybe some of you don't have the motivation. Some of you don't have the clear insight towards what this Star is. Oh, it's so strange. Let's keep going, because I'm gonna give myself a brain problem if I try to keep figuring out what the heck that thing is. We talked about the Queen of Cups. This is your heart. This is your love. This is, you know, the Queen of Cups is a very intuitive person. I can't figure this out right now, Gemini. This is gonna bother me. This is gonna stress me out until I figure this thing out. Yeah. Let's move on. You have the Four of Pentacles following the Queen of Cups. You have the Four of Pentacles followed by the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, Gemini, you are driving me crazy. I can't figure this out. Because the Four of Pentacles is your stability. The Four of Pentacles is literally like your foundations and the things that you build your life upon. It's things being in line, being in sync. And the Nine of Pentacles is your independence. The Nine of Pentacles in reverse is feeling like I feel like maybe you feel like you can't break free from something. Oh, just give me a minute. Let's see. Gemini, it feels really strange. It feels like there's stuff going on. Obviously, I know stuff goes on. I'm getting really frustrated. I'm trying not to frustrate myself explaining this. But it definitely feels like it almost feels like everything on the outside for you looks like it should be working in your favor. But I just can't get over this, like, inner ickiness. It feels like there's, like, an inner icky piece that's just not making sense. Like, the Queen of Cups should say that your emotions are flowing. The Queen of Cups says that, like, you're emotionally connected and it's about your intuition and, you know, it feels like on one piece it should be working. Things feel like they should be working very favorably for you, and I just can't get over this King of Wands in reverse with that Star card in reverse. It's like things feel like they should be working, but there's this inner peace on the inside for you, Gemini, that's just not. There's something that's just missing. King of Wands very well could be someone trying to find that missing piece, find that spark of hope. I mean, the wands are, you know, they're wands, but sometimes it feels like the match that lights, that ignites our passions, our inspirations. And the Star card is that inner feeling of hope, inner feeling, the guiding light in the darkness, after pain, after heartbreak, after things going wrong. And so, you know, lacking this, it's almost like lacking direction. But it's so strange because the King of Pentacles is someone who, like, knows what they want. That's like a a business person who knows what they want and they get it. They're not afraid to get it. They're not afraid to take chances and go for what they want and to use their resources wisely. It's a very strange energy, Gemini. I feel like a lot of what's happening is on the outside, it feels like things should be going good. And on the inside, things just feel weird. Very, very weird. Let's move on to week 2 because I'm going to go crazy if I keep trying to figure this out. Okay, starting off week 2, Gemini, you have the 3 of Swords in reverse. Now, this is... oftentimes it represents like pain. It represents stuff happening that can be very hurtful. With this being in the reverse, this feels like past pain, past experiences, moving on. And it's followed by the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, which is also about like moving away from loneliness. So Gemini, these first 2 cards for week 2, it feels like something has happened recently that's hurt your heart. Something has happened recently that's left you feeling very alone, feeling very isolated. Part of you wants to move away from this. In fact, I feel like a lot of this first energy is you either trying to convince yourself or trying to move on, trying to convince yourself that you don't need anybody else. I feel like a lot of your trust has been broken, and, you know, it's just that loneliness of the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. But it's in the reverse, so like both of those cards, you know, there's been pain, there's been loneliness. I feel like it should mean that you're moving away from it, but I feel like you're trying to distract from it. You're trying to tell yourself that you don't need people, that you can do this by yourself. I mean, you can do it by yourself, but like, do you want to? Feels very isolating. Your next card after that is the Princess of Pentacles. And the Princess of Pentacles is someone taking their piece, taking their pentacle to go on this journey of figuring out where to plant it. This is someone who is preparing to plant, but they haven't actually planted. It almost has like a piece of not innocence, not naivety, almost inexperience. This is someone who's very new to the idea of planting, a very new gardener who doesn't necessarily know yet exactly what they need. But the best teacher is experience and time. So even though you may have never done this thing before, you may have never, you know, planted this thing before or done this, I feel like a lot of you are still needing to move into this place of being a beginner at something. Freedom is yours with that horse spirit. There is definitely a sense of freedom that needs to happen here. Freeing yourself, Gemini. Freeing yourself from that. Oh, God. I don't know. Oh, all of this is so frustrating. It's so frustrating when I can't get a clear message. Maybe you're very frustrated, Gemini. Maybe you feel like you don't have a clear message, because the King of Wands is our willpower, and I guess if you don't have a clear message, you know, all these other pieces could be very clear. You could have the ability physically, the ability financially, the ability emotionally to do something. But if you don't have the inspiration, if you don't have the that spark, that little piece of fire within you to actually like do this thing, if you're missing that little spark of light, you know, you can have all these other components, but like, you don't have what you need to do this thing. That pentacle in the Princess of Pentacles, the pentacle represents the seed, which is endless opportunity, endless potential. You know, you plant it, and it's up to the seed to grow. It's up to the seed to expand from itself. You plant it, you tend to it, but it grows outside of yourself, outside of your influence. It's a very strange energy, Gemini. You're irking me, and it's driving me bananas. Okay, moving on, you move on to the Two of Pentacles, which is about balance. So balance between two different areas of your life. And this one's right underneath the King of Wands there. So there is some sort of balance here that needs to happen. Balance between work and home, balance between these pieces of yourself. Honestly, a lot of this could be the piece of yourself. Oh God, everything feels so weird. Gemini, your reading is vexing me. And that could very well, I mean, like, this is about the hills that we die on, but like, Gemini, what hill are you dying on? Because it feels like you don't even know where you're at. It feels very directionless. As I said, it's like, it's finding that true north. And like, what is freedom if you don't know where you're going? What is freedom? Like, it's endless potential, endless ability to go and do something, but like, what do you do with it? There's so many, and actually you have a card later on with the 7 of Cups. It's like, there's so many options and things available to you. You know, you have the freedom to go and do whatever you want, but it's like, what do I do? That King of Wands is that spark of like what you do. And the Star card it's that light that you follow. It's the guide. You have all of these other things that on its own would make you very successful. But you're missing that piece. You're missing that guiding force, that guiding light. Be loyal to what you love and think on your feet. But like, thinking on your feet, you have to have a goal in mind. Otherwise, you're going to be blown about in the wind. Be loyal to what you love because you're trying to find your true north. What is your true north here, Gemini? What is your true north, essentially? What hill are you dying on? What is worth it to you to defend like this? What are you defending? Because it feels like there's a defensiveness to it, but I can't even tell you what you're defending. I can't even tell you because it feels like you don't even know what you're defending. Ugh. This is driving me crazy. This is driving me bananas. I don't even know what you're fighting for. You don't even know what you're fighting for. You have all these pieces that would make you very successful. You have that 4 of Pentacles. That's your foundations. You have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. It may be in reverse, but it's still here, Gemini. It's still here, which is your independence. Maybe you can't see yourself independent from something. Defensiveness. Going away from defensiveness. Oh, God. I don't even know. I don't know if you can hear my child. My kids are off for spring break this week, so I apologize if you can hear my children, but they are children. They will make noise. Gosh, that Princess of Pentacles, she's holding one of the 2 pentacles in the 2 of Pentacles here. It feels like you're on a journey to find this missing piece to bring you this balance. I feel like you're trying to find the gear. I feel like it's literally, I'm imagining like gears and cogs shifting into place. It feels like you're waiting for this piece. This little piece, that spark of inspiration, the star, that guiding light. You're waiting for this ignition, this little fire that's going to set off this dynamite. But like, you have everything else. What are you waiting for? You're waiting for that spark. You're waiting for this piece to come in for you so that you can bring balance to what is going on. Bring balance to yourself and what's going on within you. But like, it's so strange because I feel like you should have it. Maybe it's something that feels hidden from you. Maybe it's something that feels different from you. I don't know, Gemini. Your next card after that 2 of Pentacles is the Emperor in reverse. So actually, this is the divine counterpart. This is the partner for the Empress here. Emperor, Empress, right? Think about it. They're literally partners, right? So the Empress is the creative energy. This is the person who is able to take a seed and grow it. This is fertility, but like not just physical fertility, like fertility of the mind. And as we said, the pentacle here is the seed that the Empress grows into fruition. The Empress is literally that expansive, the creative inner energy, right? Because it's not something that is what you can influence externally. This is an internal influence, as we said. If you see the result of it externally, in a way, in the manifestation of the Emperor here, you see it as an outward physical manifestation, but the work is inner, right? You know, you don't look at a seed and tell it to grow and have it grow exactly how much you want it to. But the result of the growth is something that you can, you know, measure physically on the outside. But the internal growth happens outside of the realm of your control. The Emperor is someone who's all about control. This is the person who wants to be able to do that. This card is in the reverse, though, so a lot of you could be moving away from this piece of trying to control things. I feel like more what it is that you can't expand something you don't have. As we said in the very beginning, we have this energy of Rajas and Tamas. This is the, you know, outward expansion and inner contraction, right? And you cannot have the outward expansion without the inner contraction, okay? You have to have the inner peace first. And the king here, right? This is supposed to be the outward expansion. This is supposed to be the person who is so confident in themselves and confident in their ability to do stuff that they're able to go out there and do anything, do whatever they want. I mean, the King of Pentacles, you have two kings and the Emperor showing up in your reading. You have the Empress and the Queen here. Like, by all intents and purposes, Gemini, you should have this peace, but it feels like there's something missing. It feels like there's something, I don't want to say wrong. Maybe that's what you're thinking. Maybe you are thinking, Gemini, that there's something wrong with you because you, by all intents and purposes, should have these pieces to be able to create and build this thing, but something's just not right here. Part of it, I feel like, is the Seven of Cups. You feel very lost. You feel very directionless. There's so many things that you could choose from that you don't know where to go first. That Seven of Cups is like choice overwhelm. There's so many things being brought to your attention that you need to think about or feel. And actually, you had two sevens. You started with the Seven of Wands, which is about the things that we defend. It's about the hills that we die on, our convictions and the things that we believe. And the Seven of Cups is supposed to be like these choices, the choices that are available to us. Sometimes it's being so afraid to make the wrong choice that we just choose to not make any choice. But not making a choice is making a choice. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because not choosing something, if you have 3 choices available to you and you choose not to choose those, well, then you're choosing your current circumstances. You're choosing your current situation. I'm not saying you're choosing it right now, Gemini, but like, there is a choice that needs to be made. There's so many different pieces that you're trying to handle and influence and do all this stuff with. I feel like you have so much stuff inside of you that you just don't know what to do with. You feel like you're missing this piece. Like you're missing this piece to be able to figure out what it is. And then you feel like you can make this choice about what this Seven of Cups is. You know, you're missing the piece to make this choice is what it feels like. But I feel like that's your perception of this, Gemini. Your perception of this is actually separate from the reality of this. And the reality is, Gemini, that you have everything you need at any point to make a change. Think on your feet, and freedom is yours. It's yours currently. It's not something that's going to happen later. It's not something that's going to happen once you get this piece. It's already yours. You have the freedom to choose at any point to do something. Think on your feet and be creative. I mean, I know we're lacking creativity. I know that we're lacking the inner drive and the heart about this thing that needs to happen. But I don't know. I don't know, Gemini. Your last card here is the Moon card in reverse. The Moon card is very similar to the Star card. The Star card is it. Let's talk about why it's kind of similar. Why I'm thinking that, because when you look at the night sky, right, you have the star, right, and stars don't change position, right? So they were used for many, many years for navigation, because you could figure out where you were based off of the constellations, off the stars. The moon shifts throughout the sky. So, you know, sometimes it'll be in different constellations at different times, right? So the moon is a little bit more transitional than this. And it also has phases, right? So there are phases of the moon where, you know, we have new moons and full moons and waxing and waning, and, you know, there's all these things that happen. It changes position a lot more, but it's almost like this, it's similar to the star card in that it's a guiding light at night, right? This also is about like your intuition, that guiding inner knowing. I'm thinking about how birds know how to migrate. It's actually like some sort of weird like magnetic thing with the poles that they just know how to migrate. They don't question it, they just know how. Butterflies, monarchs, they make the trips, but you know, they've never been there before. How do they know where they're going? It's this deep inner knowing. And the moon in reverse is also like this piece of this deep inner knowing for you, Gemini. This guiding force that is able to, you know, show you the star card here. The star is the hope, and it's also that guiding light that keeps you. There's a compass. And the moon is signaling that there's a need to connect with this inner piece of yourself. I feel like there's actually really a need for a very deep dive here, Gemini. I feel like a lot of this reading feels very surface level. And with that moon card showing up in the reverse at the very end, it feels like there's a lot of inner stuff here that needs to be addressed. I showed this in the Aries reading. I don't know how well, it's so hard to figure out how to show it for the camera. I don't know how to shift it for you. Oh my gosh, because like I turned my wrist and it like freaking turns my whole arm here. But I have this tattoo here, and it's an unalome, or it's like a variation of an unalome, right? And if you don't know what an unalome is, it's like a Buddhist symbol that shows the path to enlightenment, right? The path of life. And when you look, it starts from this circle right here at the very bottom, which is us in the circle of the ether before we are brought into creation. And then, you know, we're brought into life. And as you can see, there's like these back and forth twists that happen. I don't know how well you can see it. There's these back and forth twists that happen that feel very, when this twist happens, right? It almost looks like it's going backwards, but really it's still bringing us forward. Like 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. It feels very, push and pull like the tides. And sometimes it can feel very discouraging, like we're regressing almost, like we're moving back. And even though we're still like net positive, you know, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, you're still net positive a step. But it feels very internal. And like I said, you know, there's that rajas and the tamas. There's the outward external influence and the inner influence, the inner contraction energy. And when they combine, when you find this even balance between them of the sattva, you know, this is the inner peace, the balance between the two, to where you have both happening at the same time. They haven't stopped moving, but there is a balance between the push and the pull, between the tides, really. The moon controls the tides too with that last card for you, Gemini. This all feels very surface level. Gemini, you are the sign of duality. There is a duality. There is 2 pieces going on here. And I feel like a lot of this feels very surface level. It feels like you should be in this place where things feel good, but it's just not. It feels like there's these things, like you should have the resources to do this, and yet you don't. Gemini, I wish I had more insight for you. I don't know if it's just because it's Mercury retrograde, or if I'm just too tired and need to eat, or whatever's going on, but things just feel so confusing. I don't know what to think about this. I don't know. So Gemini, I'm so sorry. I wish I had more insight for you. I wish I was able to give you more answers, but it feels like with the moon card here, it feels like you need to take a deep dive. As I said, all of this feels very surface level, but there is something happening deep within that I feel like you're staying surface level because you're afraid to confront it. Now, I will say, I am a Gemini as well, too. I am a Gemini Sun and Venus in my 9th house. And so, yes, this very well could be, me projecting onto this reading. I try to stay neutral when I'm reading like this, but as a Gemini, it just happens, right? I'm reading my energy as well as yours. And it feels very confusing. It feels like there is a deep dive that needs to happen. Like we are staying surface level because we are afraid to confront the deeper bits that are happening. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to read these cards here for you, but it feels like, you have freedom, you have direction, but it almost feels like there's so many things going on. It feels like you've lost sight of your inner compass, your true north. You have all of these tools. You've done this growth. You're moving away from this place of control, and it feels like you got to get in touch with your inner self. You got to get in touch with the deep knowing, with your inner compass, Gemini. So anyway, I pulled 2 cards here to end your reading from the Universe Has Your Back deck. This is to leave you with a positive message moving into the weeks ahead here. So your first card that popped out here says, the more energy and intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. So yeah, the push and the pull, ease and effort. The more energy and intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. So putting in this intention, putting in this energy actually brings you more freedom. Be loyal to what you love. Think on your feet. There is stuff changing all around you right now, Gemini. Even though this 4 of Pentacles says that your foundation should be good. Your foundation, the things that you have, should be good. But are they good? It feels very surface level. It feels like things on the outside feel very good. But what about your inner world, Gemini? You're the sign of duality, the sign of the twins. It's 2 pieces of the same whole. 2 people that shared the same womb together that should know each other deeper than anybody else, anything else. And, even with that moon card, you have those 2 icebergs in the background. This is all about duality. This is all about 2 pieces and the push and the pull. Energy and intention. Fearless and free. The more energy and intention I bring to my faith. That inner knowing of the moon card. Like I said, this is like, this almost has like a hindbrain piece to it. Your animal brain. As I said, with the birds, this is like the deep inner knowing. No one has to tell you. No one has to tell the birds, okay, it's time to migrate. No one has to tell the monarchs, hey, here's the town that you're going to go to when you migrate. They just know. They just do it. At least with, salmon. Salmon have been there before. They find their way back. But, who tells them how to get to the ocean in the first place? Who tells them that they have to leave? They just go. They flow. Your other card here says, in every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love. So there is this sense of freedom, and there's also this idea of being brought towards your destiny. What are you holding on to? What are you defending? What are you bringing with you? By all intents and purposes, as I said, this feels very surface level. It feels like things should be good. Things should be working. I'm kind of drawn back to this 3 of Swords in reverse and the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. You're moving away from hurt. You're moving away from pain and loneliness. And moving towards the energy of love. Moving towards a new future for yourself. But what is your future, Gemini? What is it that you want to move towards? Because you have all these options. You have all these cups available to you. As I said, you have this endless freedom. You have all these things available that should be moving onward. But like, endless possibilities are endless. Where are you going? What do you want to do? Bringing you where? So Gemini, I really wish I had more answers and insight for you. It's always very frustrating when I feel like I can't help you as much as I can with a reading. So I really hope that this was able to help you in some way. I hope that I was able to provide you at least a little bit of guidance. Get in touch with yourself. Really, like, I feel like for you, especially right now, Gemini, put a very deep emphasis on meditation, deep dives, shadow work, whatever you need to do right now. There's a lot going on, and even though on the outside, on the surface level, things feel very good, I feel like there's actually something a lot deeper going on that I actually feel like I can't connect with it because it's something that is so independent and deep for you, Gemini, that I feel like it's not something that I'm allowed to tap into. It may be very individual for you especially, but whatever this inner thing is, whatever this inner piece is, Gemini, you got this. You know, you have all the right tools and pieces to turn this into something that is very, not just profitable, not just money. You know, this isn't about money. This is about life. This is about love and connection and what you want. What do you want, Gemini? Anyway, as I said, I hope this was able to help you in some way, and I really look forward to seeing you all again in the next reading, where hopefully I can give you a little bit more answers. So, thank you for being here, and have a good day.